So, it's been a while since we've done one of these. Welcome back. Hey friends, my name's Gabrielle, welcome to FrumiousReads. So this is the week 9 wrap-up video for my Book a Day Challenge for 2016. So this week I read Artemis Fowl, The Time Paradox, Reading Lolita in Tehran, Savages by Dawn Winslow, Fight On by M.H. Clark, Eco Critica Postcolonial in Latin America by William Flores, Doña Barbara, and Cien Años de Soledad. I kind of cheated with the last 3 because they were books I needed to read for class, and I have been absolutely swamped with schoolwork, so I definitely used my Book a Day opportunity to get ahead on my reading for those. Let's talk about the best book that I read this week. Savages by Dawn Winslow. This book is amazing. I've actually read it before. This was a reread that I did because I wanted a book that I just was excited to read, because after reading so many books and after reading a lot of okay books, I really just wanted to have a book that I knew was good and that I knew I would enjoy. So I picked up this one again, and let me tell you, it is so good. This book is about Ben, Chon, and O, who all end up in kind of a drug scheme together. They end up getting threatened by hired drug lords of Mexico, forced to work for them, and it's kind of their journey to trying to get out of working for them and fight against other drug lords. And it's such a great book. I absolutely loved reading it. The way it's told is amazing. Each chapter is super short. It's just such an interesting way to open a book, and it just immediately grabs your attention, and this keeps going the entire time. I love the characters because they're not your typical characters that you would like, but you love them anyway. They're just so well done. This book is so well written. I honestly have nothing bad to say about this book other than I really think you guys should read it. And it takes place really close to my hometown of San Diego, so it's like they talk about places in the book that I recognize. I was like, hey, I know that place, and it's just, you know, it's funny to see what they do with it in the book compared to like where I know of it in real life. The okay book that I read this week, Artemis Fowl, The Time Paradox. Now, I kind of read the Artemis Fowl out of order. I read The Last Guardian, which is the final Artemis Fowl book, earlier in my Book a Day Challenge. But this book, while it was good and I enjoyed going back to the world of Artemis Fowl, it just kind of felt like a filler to me. Like, it didn't feel like it actually progressed. In general, I kind of was just kind of like, it was okay. It wasn't necessary for the entire series. It was almost as if they needed a book to continue on with the series, and then this was the only one that they had at the time, so they just published it. Okay, the worst book that I read this week was one that I had to read for class. It was so hard for me to finish this. Oh my gosh, it took me so long, and I read it in Spanish too, which made it a little bit harder, and that was Cien Años de Soledad, or 100 Years of Solitude, written by Gabrielle Garcia Marquez, and it follows the story of the several generations of the Buendia family as they live in this kind of utopia called Maconda, and essentially it just kind of goes through their fortunes and misfortunes of their life there and all the changes it goes through, and it was just kind of very confusing. It had that element of mysticism, and the writing was just very kind of sluggish and slow and dreamlike, and it was really confusing in the way that the generations were told, was just because all the generations had the same like names of the generation before them, so it was really hard to tell when time was passing. And I get that was kind of the point of the novel, was to have that kind of dreamlike element and quality of writing, but just honestly it was just so hard to get through and so hard to read. And I feel like it was even harder because I read it in Spanish, so it was like, it was Spanish isn't my first language. There were a lot of words that I didn't know, and even when I tried to read the English version of certain things, like certain chapters, it just wasn't a book that I could get into. Okay, but that was my 3 books that I'm going to talk about this week. I already chose my challenge for the week from the Goodreads group that I'm a part of called Around the Year in 52 Books, and that was to read a crime story, and for that I am going to be reading Panic Room by James Ellison. It's pretty good so far. I really enjoy it. It's only 240 pages or so it's not one that will take me a while to finish. Other than that, that's all that I have for you guys today. If you guys haven't seen my last video, which is where I gave an inside look to the characters of the recently released novel Gabrielle and the Swallows by Esther Dalseno, then stick around. It will be playing right after this. If you guys like this video, then go ahead and subscribe. I try and upload bookish videos twice a week. Let me know if there's any books that I mentioned here that you would like to hear me give a separate review on. Let me know what you guys thought of this video in the comments below. That is all that I have for you guys today, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye. So this is something that I've been kind of working on behind the scenes for the past 2 weeks or so. I was lucky enough to be put in contact with the author of Drown.